All right, we're after 7:30 here, so I'll get started. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to meet with us tonight. Just going to go over some brief things prior to the PSL season, just to keep everybody in the loop and some expectations. And then Octavian will give an update on some officiating stuff, and then I will finish off with any questions. So like I said, thanks everyone for taking the time to join. This is being recorded, and I've checked it is being recorded. So if anyone wants a copy after, just shoot me an email and I can get you a copy if there's any coaches that weren't able to make it or something like that. And I'd like if everybody could just put your name and the team that you're representing into the chat. That I'll use that to for attendance, and we'll get rolling. So the schedule of discussion, intro and attendance. So I'm Ryan Gibney. I'm the manager of events and communication for Saskatchewan Soccer. Joining me is Octavian Iluda. He is the uh, manager of officials. Um, And then, so tonight we're going to go through team contacts, 2025 or 2026 schedule and game change process, game sheet process, home game checklist, uniforms, VO, and then some league specific rules. And then at the end, there will be some time for any questions. So team contacts. I sent an email out to all the member organizations that should have been forwarded to all of you, just with a link to the website. The on the under the PSL tab, there's a Google Sheet, spreadsheet for everyone to fill out with your coaches, the manager, and then anyone who is going to be needing communication from SSA. This is also where you'll identify your team kit colors. And this is also where you'll put who should have access to VO to upload a review link and look at stuff through the League Exchange. If I could ask that everyone please have that information filled out by Wednesday, May 20th. And then that's also where you can find the information for other teams. If there's any game change requests that you need to facilitate with them, that information can be found there. So the game change process, the schedule is now live on sassoccer.com. If there's any changes that are required from now moving forward, I'd like that you please fill out a game change form. The game change form is available in that same spot under PSL rules and resources. Um, and the form must be submitted for all changes moving forward. That includes field changes, time changes, and date changes. And so we'll move into the game sheet process. So the pregame responsibilities for each club, each team must update the game sheet, including participating players, coaches, and team personnel, as well as accurate jersey numbers through their ramp account at least 24 hours in advance of each match. The home team is responsible for printing 3 copies of the game sheet and bringing it to each match to be signed by the coaching staff of both clubs and provided to the match officials. This should be done a minimum of 15 minutes prior to the match. Uh, Post-game responsibilities at the completion of the match, 1 copy will remain with the officials. 1 copy will be provided to each the home and visiting team. The home team is responsible for entering the report in ramp within 24 hours of the conclusion of the match. Once entered, the visiting team is responsible for accepting the game report within 48 hours of the conclusion of the match. This is going to be very important this year. There's 47 teams. We had a big increase in teams. So making sure that we can get this stuff done in a timely manner is really important for keeping things on track, and so that I can review the game sheets and get any of the discipline report stuff out to the teams or make any changes that need to be made. Failure to meet these standards will result in a fine of $100 per instance. Host member organization zones, U13 and home teams will be responsible for ensuring the following are completed at least 15 minutes before game time. Three suitable size 5 balls provided to the match official. Blinds are painted and goal nets are set up. Corner flags are set up. Secure and separate officials area if that's available. And if there's gates to be unlocked or washrooms and dressing rooms that are unlocked, making sure that that's done in a timely manner so that the game can start on time. I should mention also that the time on the website for all of the games for U13, there is 10, the start, those are all start times. So there's 10 minutes prior to that for warm up for U13 and 15 for U15 and 17. So those are all start times. That is the time when the match is expected to start. Uniforms. Each team participating in PSL shall have two sets of jerseys and two sets of socks in two distinct colors. Teams shall provide SSA office with the colors of each set. That's with that Google document. A photograph may be requested. I'll look at those at some point next week, and I'll be in contact with the member organizations if need be. Teams shall wear their lightest jersey for all home games and their darkest jersey for all away games. If a conflict arises where the team uniforms, the officials decide that the team uniforms are too similar, the home team will be expected to change to their alternate kit. All teams must travel with both sets of jerseys and socks to all matches. All players of a team except the goalkeeper shall wear the same combination of jersey, shorts, and sock colors. The goalkeeper shall wear a color of jersey, shorts, and sock which are one consistent color and such that is distinct from the field players of both teams, opposition goalkeeper, and referees. That's for U15 and U17. At the U13, the keeper must have a distinct jersey from their team and opponent. However, they may wear the same shorts and socks as their teammates to encourage participation of multiple keepers within the same game. And as I said, at U15 and U17, the keeper kit shall have a matching jersey, shorts, socks, which are distinct from their team opponent match officials. All keepers must have a matching kit to the other keeper on their own team if both keepers are participating in the match. And each player's jersey, including goalkeepers, shall have a unique number on the back. VO, so for 2026, VO will remain mandatory for all U15 and U17 matches. The home team will be responsible to meet the established standards for video sharing the game via the VO League exchange within 48 hours of the completion of the match. VO is not mandatory in U13 division, but is encouraged. If you have entered information into the VO tab of the Google spreadsheet for the U13 teams, I will send that to VO along with the U15 and 17 sheet that I'll be sending next week. Failure to meet established standards for VO shall and share with the opposing team and SSA within specified time period may be met with a fine of $150 per instance. There was some confusion with VO last year. I've worked through that now. I've been in touch with VO already. It should be set up and ready to go for the start of the season. Okay, so now some league specific rules. Player, team, staff receiving more than 3 cautions during the season will be automatically suspended as follows. So after their third caution, they will receive a 1 game suspension. Starting with the fourth caution, during the current playing season is a 1 game suspension for each yellow card received. Cautions will not carry over into PSL playoffs. However, accumulation of suspensions will. Um, if any player or team official dismissed from a game will automatically be suspended for the next game, and shall receive a communication from the Tactical Advisory Board with the official ruling as soon as possible following the completion of the match. I believe that it says there's 2 business days is what is required. So if there is a suspension that occurs on either a Friday or a Saturday, don't expect that anything will be sent out until the Monday, and that please keep that in mind that there is a mandatory suspension of 1 game, and it will be up to you guys to make sure that that is adhered to.
Ryan, would you find it useful that we talk a little bit about the different type of red cards so that people understand what the minimum suspensions will be?
Sure.
Okay, so for a absolutely, let's say 2 yellow cards in 1 game, which result in a red card, that usually is a 1 game suspension. If you receive a red card for a serious foul play, then that's a minimum 2 game suspension, as per the SSA discipline code of conduct. If you receive a red card for violent conduct, that is a minimum of 3 game suspension. If you receive a red card for using foul and abusive language towards a match official, it is a minimum of 6 game suspension. And we just want to, as we talk about this automatically suspended for the next game, we want you to understand that as the report is received within the SSA office, the SSA is bound the most to adhere to the SSA code of conduct and discipline. So if it is a serious foul play, it might be an automatic 1+1, and it could be, if it's serious foul and abusive language, it'll be 6 games. And we get this every year when people believe that it's just that 1 game, and we hear this all the time on how this is half of the season. So we wanna caution you to just to bring this to your attention, so you're aware that your opinion that it may be or may not be violent conduct may not necessarily be what we have to follow. And what we have to follow is the SSA discipline code, which states some of those suspensions to be that way.
And those are available on our website under codes of conduct, I believe. And there's like Octavian said, there are mandatory minimums, and those will be upheld. So if it's a mandatory minimum of 2 games, you can expect that it will be at least 2 games. Discipline procedures. All participants must adhere to the SSA Code of Conduct. Um, we encourage special attention be paid to Section 1.5 unacceptable actions, inappropriate use of social media by parties connected to SSA. I know there's a lot of clubs nowadays have Instagram or Facebook or whatever accounts. Just make sure that you're aware of this policy and what's in this policy, and that those accounts are adhering to that. Um, Parties connected to any SSA competition must adhere to that policy and engage in respectful relationship with SSA event coordinators and volunteers as listed in the Code of Conduct. I'll pass it over to you, Octavian.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for very kindly reminding some of the requirements. And obviously, as everybody knows me, or most of you know me, I am very passionate about a very important team that's on the field of play, and that would be the third team, the team of officials. And I thank all of you who have been very, very supportive and have behaved really, really well, and have reminded yourself of the why you are there in those environments. And I'm hoping that this season will continue on the generally positive line that has been going on in the last seasons. As Ryan has alluded, PSL 2026 has grown a lot thanks to support from you, the people that run the teams themselves, the member organizations, and that presents us with a huge opportunity to develop referees across the province. We have games in many new centers to obviously provide opportunity to the local players and provide an environment of growth for the local coaches, and make it a little bit easier for those members from those communities to play on a home soil. And this window of opportunity is grabbed by the horns by ourselves where we will be obviously develop, where we'll be looking at providing access to games to local officials when you go into these small centers. When you become a referee, your number one development tool is hands-on. It's having access to games and and doing it hands-on as you go through. And we are very committed to doing this, even though we see sometimes across the province a very detrimental approach of traveling officials in from major centers, and I guess at, with no care about the cost. And referees are going to advance your game, are going to advance your the quality of the programming that you offer locally, and when they deserve to be supported, they deserve to be given the opportunity. Um, so this comment right now, it is our desire, and it's a very strong push to develop referees outside Saskatoon and Regina. Is that all matches that will be happening in those will be attempted to be assigned with local officials. We have some really good local officials in pockets that those officials that have been supportive and have developed by being involved in our development programs within the SSA, and that reflects the quality that they offer or what they do there. And we're hoping that we can expand this all the way. So if travel will be required, the travel cost will be supported by the host member organization. And to kind of give you an idea, it is not very um, incentivizing to travel for a U13 game into a member organization, and the cost of the travel is probably equate to the cost of certifying five referees. Five local referees. So obviously we are going ahead with this for now, but we are working really, and I am becoming a very unliked and very uncomfortable person for some people, and I realize that that is the case. But ultimately, it is my duty to advocate for this very important part, and to strongly believe that match officials are absolutely very important to the development of any soccer in any pocket of the province. And if you do not have an organization that handles match officials, which we do in Saskatoon and Regina, then that lies under the technical director's responsibilities. And we know that they're very busy. So that's something that we're hoping that they will work towards, finding liaisons and people that will be willing to take on this within their local member organization, spend the time and get learn from within the development programs of the SSA, and then come home and bring those best practices. And obviously, as you will travel, you may we all have an idea of what you believe standards should be and what is a good referee and what it isn't. But if you understand this bigger mission that we're embarking on it together, it's something that is really important. We wanted to be very transparent with you on this one, and we understand that this may cause some growing pains, but we are seeing clear exponential progress. All match officials that we are mentoring, or we're providing them opportunities to officiate games, and we're hoping that this will be the result. And next year, they will become better, and before you know it, they'll be extremely valuable. And now we're in year three, I would say, of the Green Whistle Initiative. And you will see lots of the referees, especially at the U13 level, which is a developmental league, um, will be having green whistles, or a very large majority of them will be younger than 18. And from a perspective of registrations, I would say the referees under 18 account for over 60% of our registration in the entry level clinics as late as recent as 2026. Again, 90% of them are in the range of 14 to 17. Those are the kids that come in. Those are the kids that want to become referees, and those are the kids that we start with, and we want to keep them as much as we can, considering their fragile ages. Referees, just like players, they're the same. They have to develop in pretty much four different corners of development, just like players do. We can easily work with them on a technical, tactical aspect of the game. We can certainly help them with aligning and requesting physical participation. The social, emotional, and psychological one are the ones that are mostly impacted by their experience and how they are being treated and what they're being done. And as I see a plethora of absolutely amazing coaches and great psychologists here, I kind of remind you that the ones that are out there wearing a yellow uniform are often the exact same kids that you're being very, very cautious of how you address when they also make lots of mistakes on the field. As recent as this past April, we had a female referee clinic as one of our initiatives, which was supported by my colleague Jen Wood. And here you'd see there's a group of 27 of them. They came through, and we're hoping to expand this in Regina next year if all goes well. So they come they those 27. There are another 8 that have taken a regular course within Saskatoon. So within this general area, we have very good amount of new female referees, which are amazing. And again, they're growing exponentially by game and game. So within the U13 girls division, specifically for games in Saskatoon, it is our target to have them, give them opportunity. You will see them. They will be out there. They will be given opportunity. They will have to learn and grow fairly quickly. But this is a very important demographic of our game, and it is very often it is clearly underrepresented today. The percentages of female referees is way lower than the percentages of female players. However, as they perform and they go out there, they are doing, I would argue, what based on learning from working with them over the past 3 years. All the ones that are phenomenal and you know who they are and you see them out there on the field, they have all shown me how much they can grow. And I would say that they actually pick up some things a lot better than some of their counterparts. So I just wanted you to be aware of this, and obviously we're looking forward to giving them access to games, and specifically at the U13 girls division, you will see most of them in Saskatoon at all the games, and we appreciate your support and understanding behind this. And uh, as coaches of the female teams, what it is my hope that you have gone through, and maybe you've heard of this keeping girls in sport training, which is absolutely fundamental. It may give you some information which can be equivalent to the exact same thing within the referee realm. We're seeing a trend here on the Shingar's son side, where unfortunately we can't really see them anymore, and they happened all the way across. We understand that you may not necessarily be able to control the trend and what it is, but I guess it is our
Yeah.
hope that you remind them and then try to nudge them and educate them in ways, but ultimately they'll do what they do. One of the things that we unfortunately see is obviously there's normal contacts which result in a higher rate of injuries because the shin guards are the exact size of the shin guard does not necessarily cover or protect whatsoever. As adults, I think you all agree with me. It is my hope that as parents, maybe you can influence your own child in a positive way, because we don't want them to see them injured. Now, I'll just talk a little bit about the jury. It is a huge amount of jewelry that we see out there in the local leagues, and again, this is not something that we like to come to you about, but it is a responsibility that you have to make sure that the players meet the requirements of the law of the game before they come to us. We see tape jewelry, and I've had even a conversation as recent as that is the reason the girls are not playing, and I would say I would strongly disagree with that. I had boys in my team as when I'm coaching, which I had a very simple conversation with them prior to their first practice, after their first practice, and there was absolutely no issue for them to remove it and then put it back on. So that's what I have for you for jury. a kind reminder to make sure you do have a captain's armband. This is a mandatory piece of equipment. It's been made mandatory some like 2 years ago. And it can be very, very useful if we have to implement, if we have to use the only the captain sign, because in that the only the captain protocol, if we use the only the captain protocol and you have a captain that is identified, that we can have a conversation with them. If you do not have a captain, then obviously we can't implement that protocol, which means you are not represented if we were to give you that chance. Cast, that's a very clear aspect. It's again another myth. There's a myth, and as a person, as a coach, as an individual, I have no problem. I would love every kid to be having an opportunity to play every single time. But as we are bound to follow the policies and within risk management and safety, this is a very clear cut one. If there is a hard cast, you cannot play, you cannot tape it. I absolutely hate that I have to tell you this, as I have myself, I have kids and I'm a coach and I want them to play every single time, but there's just unfortunately no leeway. So I am just a horrible messenger back to you on this one. As always, as like I mentioned before, the team staff behavior in the technical area. I was having a conversation today with someone from one of the new areas, and she was telling me like, look, I my kids are really good. They want to do it. They said they are absolutely scared. They don't want to do it because the coaches are yelling at them. And we didn't really go very deep into that. Is their perception? What are the coaches doing? Why the coach is yelling at them? But it is an unfortunate reality that comes in. And why you may suggest me to train them to toughen up their skin. I can't. I'm running against a huge stream here. Today's kids, today's generation, today's everything is not what it was 20 years ago, and definitely not what it was 35 years ago. So we have to work with what it is today. And I think the one piece of behavior that we should be able to control as team staff all the time is how we behave within the technical area. Not when things go well, but especially when things go south. And I kindly remind all of you, as I've suggested, I'm a coach myself, and I do not have nearly as much the expertise that most of you have. I am happily as a C trained coach today, and I'm hoping to become certified by September. But I always remember is my why there. My why is always about the player. All my players are making an infinite amount of mistakes. And if I could have a practice with them every day to address all the things that I would do it. I'm there. I have limited amount of time, and I honestly could care less about what the referee should or should not do. And out of maybe a lot of people in this province, I am privileged to actually know what the referee should be doing. But then I can't allow that to be taken over my focus in any moment of that game. I am there for the players. I hope that we are all agreeing on that, and I hope you will focus to do the best you can to improve the players that are there, which are your main why. Back to you, Ryan.
I guess, yeah, no, I'd just like to open it up to anyone. If anyone has any questions, you can either enter them into the chat or raise your hand. Um, I guess there is one question, Octavian. Is a captain required to be on the field at all times?
As per the laws of the game, the captain is required to be on the field at all times.
Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I have a question to do with blood jerseys. So I've previously been told that they're not supposed to have numbers on them, but then last year when we sent a player onto the field, we got told to get off the field. So, but then when you go to nationals, they tell you not to have numbers. So I just want to know, are blood jerseys supposed to have a different number? Like they have to have a
So
number on them?
Well, as long as we're able to confirm what players has, I think we can certainly accept that they don't have to have numbers. But yes, every single player should have a unique number on the back. I think what you're addressing right now is a very rare situation where
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have a number. So if you have a spare jersey that you could use as a blood jersey that already has a number, you're probably ahead of the pack.
Okay.
You are going to be a nationals or not. There's 47 teams. Only 4 of them are going to go to nationals from this group. So I think if we were to expand with the less numbers out there, I think we can certainly help those 4 teams meet that. But to just say, I think everybody has a spare jersey, hopefully, and that spare jersey can be your blood jersey. It doesn't have to be a brand new jersey that doesn't have a number. And that's preferred because we can identify.
Okay, so answer is have a number on the jersey,
If you
right?
can, please, we'll accept it
Oh,
without a number, but we would prefer that for the 4
Okay.
teams that go to nationals, that we don't expand the standard to have 47 teams that have jerseys with no numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I guess a question from U13 group because there may be some new people on here, especially with the expansion of U13 this year. So entering game reports into Ramp, there is if you go on the website under that PSL tab, the rules and regulations, there is a step-by-step guide on how to do that. Um, and it is fairly straightforward. Um, I would just say that if follow that guide or if you're having any issues or something comes up that you're not comfortable with, please feel free to reach out to me. Um, I would say I would encourage any of you if you have questions or if you're not sure of something to reach out to me. I would like if there is going to be communication, I would like to go through someone who is listed on that Google document. If it's parents or something like that, I'm not likely going to answer, but if it's from somebody listed on that Google document, I will. And it would be either a coach or a manager that would enter it. I'm not sure what teams have worked out in the past, but I think most teams have their manager do it. Undergarments need to be the same color as the jersey. So if there's a white jersey, they'd need to wear white undergarments. If it's black jersey, they need to wear black undergarments. For goalkeepers, if it's yellow, they need to wear yellow. Go ahead, Eric.
I think the undershirt is match the sleeves, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's correct.
Because something has the sleeves and the main jersey is a different color, right?
Yes, that's correct. So yes, match the sleeves. I
Okay,
believe
thanks. I
that's
just
right.
want to make sure it's we're on the same page. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yes, to match the sleeves or the main color of the sleeve.
For VO, it's not mandatory for U13, so there will be no fines for U13. Jordan, did you have another question or you still got your hand up? I'll put my email in the chat. If there's any other questions that you have that you're not comfortable asking here, or if there's anything you think of, feel free to reach out to me. Uh, I'm not sure. Can you see that one, Octavian, about uh, is there suspension days for abuse of language?
6 matches, not 6 days. Yes.
6 matches. Okay.
I don't want to say I would like to look into the discipline code. There may be more for staff. To be honest, I don't know, but as far as I know, for sure. So when it says suspension days, it's not 6 days, that's for sure. It's 6 matches, minimum of 6 matches. However, I believe there may be, so when those are abusive language towards a match official is 6 matches, but there may be higher. I don't have the discipline code in front of me to be telling you, but I have seen many events where the coaching staff, generally their suspensions are higher because they tend to be on the adult side, and there's a higher level of responsibility and expectation from a behavioral perspective.
And then there's a question about fees there. Any of the fees that I deal with go to the member organization, so you would need to reach out to the member organization regarding that. Any of that stuff on my end has already been done.
Brian or Octavian, whoever can answer this. Last year we had run into some challenges regarding weather. How, let's say we have like weather issues about smoke. How late or how early can we get some update from SSA if whether or not the game will push through? Let's say we're traveling, we're from Saskatoon and we're traveling to Regina. How soon do we know, or how will we know what to do in that case?
I will do my best, or we will do our best to try and give as much of a head up as we can. I did mention that in my note that I sent to the member organizations. That stuff is really, it can change by the minute, so it's really hard to give a heads up. I understand it's hard with travel and that kind of thing, but it is the expectation is that the team is at the field ready to play, and it's up to the official at the time of the game is what is written in the rule book. I understand that's not ideal, but if there's not a situation like last year where it's been like we've had bad smoke for 3 or 4 days in a row and it doesn't look like it's going to change, then yeah, we can probably give more of a heads up. But if it's a situation where it's saying there's going to be smoke and it looks fine the day before, it's probably going to be a game time decision.
Thank you.
U13 games are 4 quarters, I believe, right, Octavian?
Yeah. So the 4 quarters is extremely important, and there should be no substitutions uh, in a quarter. You should be working with the players that you have for those 17 minutes. And of course, if there's an injury scenario, then by all means. But yeah, those are 4 quarters, and yes, we are aware. We're not basketball. We're not doing this. We think it's a very, very good developmental tool for the coaches themselves to play 4 games within a game and try different things for different players on different positions, so on. But anyways, I don't want to overstep on the coaching side of things. And yeah, let's be positive with this weather that we get. Hopefully, the north is fairly wet, and hopefully. We do not have the challenges. I think not to go back to last year, but we've canceled games that could have been played just because there's always been a pressure to make decisions with 12 hours before or 24 hours before. And I guess ultimately these are game time decisions, just like thunder and lightning is a game time decision, and that's just the way it is. If it rains very very hard, we're not going to cancel games. If it is very very windy, like today, it's been a horrible day in Saskatoon. We're not going to be canceling games. If that those are the things that we have a very very short window to get the season going. Everybody wants to go on vacation come middle of July, and we want to give you that opportunity to have those family time and vacation in the middle of July. So uh, it's a very busy schedule, and I guess that's exciting from many ways. And we're very blessed and privileged to have you come on board. And yeah, let's hope that the weather guys will be with us.
Yeah, exactly. No, yes. To answer that question, no substituting players in quarter. That's correct. They should play all 17 minutes. And then I believe there's no limit on substitutions in between quarters, Octavian. Is that correct?
Yeah. U13 is also an open roster, so you in theory could have 30 players on your roster if you really want to, and then select the ones prior to the game, prior to the weekend, I believe. There are some sections in the rulebook that I would like you to address. We appreciate your questions, but we just always want to also make sure that as we try to give you an answer right now, we could be wrong because so please verify everything we say with the rulebook. There are comments in the rulebook specifically outlining what you need to do. And we could be wrong here as we work from our memories.
Yeah, and so you kind of addressed that roster question in there as well. So U13 is an open roster, yes. And players can be added as long as they're emailed me 24 hours prior to the game, I believe is the timeline. Then they can be added to there. But it is an open roster. You can have as many as you like. U15, U17 is only 25, limit of 25.
Yeah, the question on the chat about the AP players, can we do it 24 hours before the game as well for the U17, or do we need to add them right now?
They can be added in season. It just needs to be emailed more than 24 hours prior to the game because the limit for adding to, or the limit for printing the roster is 24 hours, and if you want them on the roster for that game, it would need to be prior to that. And normally we would have the member organization do that on your behalf. That way, and the reason for that is so that the member organization is aware of it, and they're basically that's their way of giving the okay that that player is able to be AP'd.
That player is probably registered. There's no bad standing on that player with any other
Yeah,
member
all
organization.
those,
There's
all
a number
that's
of things that I guess those are admin things, but the member, every single player on your roster has been approved by your member organization as they go there. So individuals adding players on their own, an individual team manager adding players on their own, which are not registered, we find later, it puts us in a really, really bad situation when there's a complaint and then we have to overturn a game because somebody made maybe an honest mistake or maybe a dishonest mistake. We don't know. But those are very horrible situations from a competition perspective that we have to come to you with kids play on the field. They win a game and then we have to overturn because somebody else did something like that. So the process is very deliberate to be putting the responsibility and the onus on you and the member organization. The member organization, when they add a player, they are confirming that that player is eligible. They've done all their due diligence and everything that they need to do. So then there cannot be or reasonable complaint from another team or a game protest.
Question about printing game sheets. Yes, you can find those on the website if you go to under games, and then if you go all the way over to the far right side, there should be a button you can click that says print game sheet, and it'll download the PDF for you. And then it'll show if both teams have updated their roster or not in there. If they haven't, it won't show anything.
I'm just going to demonstrate that right now. So if everybody sees my screen, obviously you would go under PSL and let's say you go to your division, whichever division it is, and I'm just going to pick a random division. You click on games and obviously you're going to see this option right here on the right side. It is very likely as I click on this that you see a blank game sheet because nobody has entered anything just yet, but normally it will look like this. As you print the game sheet, please make sure you print it into a landscape mode, not into a regular portrait mode. And yeah, that's once everything is done. Hopefully everybody's done. The importance of that Google Sheet with team contacts is crucial because if somebody's late for whatever reason or they're not, that you can connect and contact each other and discuss those. If there's a potential for a color uniform conflict, you can contact each other. You can figure things out so that you don't have to show up at the field and then make it more uncomfortable to solve last minute.
For U13 final weekend, I believe that answer is in the rule book, which I don't have in front of me, but there is roster limitations for the final weekend, I believe, and they would be outlined in the rule book. Um, as far as who enters the roster and to the game sheets, it could be a coach or a manager, whichever. That's on the back end. That's the 24 hours the coach goes in and or whoever goes in and enters that information and approves it.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of support here from managers, and I say from a coaching perspective, to all the coaches here, they have lots of things to worry about and think about. So I'm sure the coaches themselves may appreciate assistance from the managers, and with communication between those two, then you know exactly who's going to start, who's going to do what's the roster, and I guess make those decisions together. It's really up to each team, and how do you choose to organize yourself.
Go ahead, Kyle.
So just a clarification on the game sheets, are we printing them off of the schedule or are we printing them off the ramp website? Because for at least U15 and U17, we have to have the starting lineups and it prints with starting lineups identified and reserve players, doesn't it? So that has to be printed out of the, like where we enter the game results and where we do all the other stuff, not off of the actual schedule website.
That I'm not sure. I'm not aware of that.
I am unaware of that requirement to have
It's when you
to
input
have
the
starting
roster.
lineups.
You can print it from the back end. So when we log in, you guys would
Yeah.
give us logins, and then we can go
Mhm.
into the back end, and that's how we select our roster. And then from there, you can
Mhm.
actually print the game sheet from the back, or you can print it from the front.
Yeah,
Yep. Well,
but
we're
here,
aware
but
that you can print it from the
there
back.
is
The
no
easiest way
like,
is from the front.
Does
but
that have the
I
starting
don't
lineup
think
on it?
there's
Yeah.
any like I don't think you have to identify who's starting.
Unless it's a new requirement, I don't know. We've never had that in
No,
PSL.
it's just
Now, when there
picking
is,
your.
yeah.
Sorry.
So we suggested, and I showed you that second way on the front end after you do it, because it's really very easy. It'll be very common for you to do your roster, and then maybe the other team hasn't done their roster. So while you can print a game sheet from your end, it will be a team that is blank. So you might do your roster first, and then they'll go in after you. They'll do it. You might need to nudge them and remind them to do it. And all that, and then printing it from the front end is really easy and very transparent and very clear, right? So, but you are right, Jordan. You can certainly do it from the back end.
I think probably what he's referring to is, as Bonnie alluded to it there in the message, that say you have the roster of 25, you can go in on the back end and if you know three people aren't going to be there, you'll only have those
Mhm.
22 people checked off. That should already be done by both teams 24 hours, so it shouldn't matter whether you print from the front or the back end.
And that's a good comment, Ryan, because I believe the game sheet has a limitation of how many actual names can fit on that game sheet. So if you select players on that by default and they are not going to be there, then there you'll end up having less spots for the coaching staff. So then we'll end up with only two coaching staff, even though there's four or five. So those are important to be selected, yes, prior to that. And I guess
It's maximum is 25 you can put on there, but it's more than 25, then the game sheet will play the alarm. So make sure you know the player you don't have a more than 20 play to select, then you have a five staff there. Because otherwise you're more than 25, you get trouble.
thank you, Eric.
Thanks. Another thing about the game sheet, because sometimes you select the player or coach over there, but you need to double check print the PDF. Just check the PDF if you see is correct or not. Because sometimes you select them, the PDF is don't pick them. So I don't know why. It's happened many times.
I think I know why, Eric.
You know,
If you
okay.
if you go through and you select all of the players that are going to be there, and then you go through and select all the staff without hitting submit after selecting the players, it will only submit the players. Then you have to go back again and do the staff. For whatever
It's,
reason, it won't do them both at the same time.
yeah, because you need update the player, update the coach, so both do both. But
Yeah.
sometimes even you do both, they still don't pick. So I don't know why. You just need to
Very
double check before you print.
It's
So
a
I would
very
say that.
painful
So
process when you're going through entering in 20 game sheets after a weekend.
yeah.
Front end would be this SSA website. Back end would be the ramp login. Those were sent to the member organization. So if you don't have access to the back end to enter your roster or to update the scores and that kind of stuff, I would reach out to your member organization. They should have all those logins. I think I saw SYSI on there said that they'll be sending them tomorrow.
Okay, Ryan, would you be okay? I saw a question in the chat, and I wanna share my screen for someone really
Sure.
quick. So please allow me to kind of show everybody, I guess. What I don't have is a step by step for you to on how to do it, but you will all have logins. So when you go to the sassoccer.com, we're going to try to make this as big as possible, right? Make sure you don't go to the Prairie Premier League, you go to the Prairie Soccer League, PSL, right? Right over here. And once you click here, there's about PSL, rules and resources, benefits of participation. Click on rules and resources. That's going to lead you to this page right here where it has a number of things. So for instance, roster selection and printing game sheet. There is a document, so it's just going to open it into a new link. This is what it looks. Kind of tells you what to do, where to go, and it just goes step by step process. I guess whatever that is, if we need to improve that, that is good. If you need to report the game, then obviously I know it actually automatically downloads the document. I'm just going to exit a little bit here just to see. So the document looks something like this, where you can, maybe Ryan, we can create a PDF so it doesn't have to download, but it looks like this, where it tells you what do you do and, how do you update it for those of you. So I would say check out those for a little bit, especially if you're brand new, and which probably is the case for most of you at U13. It's a bit of a learning curve, and I'm sure it's going to be easier as it goes, or as the season unfolds.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you have any questions, just reach out to me by email. And if it's something that we need to pick up the phone and set up a call, we can do that as well. I'm happy to help you guys go through some of that stuff. We just have to find time that I'm not busy, which is hard to do.
All right. Well, we have a wonderful group of people here, and we love having you here. And if there are all the links are asking me to log into SharePoint, Ryan, I do not know the answer to this question.
I don't know the answer to that either. I'll take a look at those links and see why it's doing that
Maybe
and try to fix it.
possibly because it might be a format that would be Excel and Word, and if they're already that, then it's just the new ways of doing things. No more single licenses or less of that, and more subscriptions. So let's make sure we will look to that and fix and make it PDF, which should be friendly for you to just open in a new one.
Yeah,
Thank
any
you
of
for
those
letting
ones,
us
any
know,
of the
Sean.
ones like
That might also just be a me issue because I think my managers can get at them. But
Yeah, no,
I
it
have a
could be. It
SAS
could be a you
soccer
issue, but
account too, so that could
yeah.
also. But I was just wondering if there was another way to get them. Like if
I'll-
you
Yeah,
guys
I'll-
would
it
be able
might
to
be a
send like a
SAS soccer
PDF
account.
of like the rules and regulations, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll look into that, Char, because if it's a you problem, it's probably more than just you. And I know that I've had issues in the past where I send emails with a link and people can't open it because of SharePoint. So I'll dig into it a little bit.
Thank you.
If that's it for questions, I'll just say thank you everyone again for your time tonight. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat right now. Otherwise, my information is on the website. And we look forward to having a great year ahead with you guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Thanks, everyone.